to fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is The Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. We are doing a piece on the Liberal MP who defected to the Conservatives to highlight some key points. Some of the information we were looking for has understandably been scrubbed by the liberal communist media. That being said, there are some pieces out there. You will first hear this MP's statement in the House of Commons, followed by the Prime Minister's brief response. We don't do French. Then I want to take you back in time to a short clip from 2015. Particularly listen to the end of that piece. Then I'm going to play a comment from Andrew Scheer, the leader of the opposition, the Conservatives, and then my final thoughts.
To have a strong economy and a strong country, we need strong federal leadership to rebuild our nation's foundations, tax reform, employment reform, a comprehensive foreign policy, and a modernized military to reassure our allies and defend Canada's interests at home and abroad. My attempts to raise my concerns with this government were met with silence. It's my duty to stand and be counted. Our country is at risk. The government must be challenged openly and publicly. But for me to publicly criticize the government as a Liberal would undermine the government and, according to my code of conduct, be dishonourable. After careful and deliberate consideration, I must withdraw from the government benches to take my seat among the ranks of my Conservative colleagues and join Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition. The Leader of Her Majesty's Opposition and his team have a firm grasp of the urgent issues we face as Canadians and the resolve to confront them. And it is my duty to align myself with those values. To my Liberal colleagues, thank you. But my oath is to country, not party, and my sacred obligation is to serve my constituents. I ask the citizens of Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill to continue to hold me to account as I serve and work with a new team focused on the challenges facing our nation. And to all Canadians across this country, I say, do not accept the status quo. Our country is at stake. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This is something that we're allowed for in our system, obviously. I wish her well in her decision. I'm looking forward to getting back in the House to talk about what we're going to be doing for Canadians, what we've been working hard on all summer and over the past few years. Évidemment,
Now to that stunning victory for the Liberal Party in Canada and an incoming Prime Minister with politics in his blood, Justin Trudeau. The Liberals won a resounding majority with 184 seats out of 338, increasing their vote share in every province since the last election in 2011. Conservative seats dropped below 100, losing ground in every province except Quebec. And the New Democrats won 44 seats. 43-year-old Justin Trudeau, a teacher and the son of the late Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, watched the election results with his young family. Later, he addressed his supporters in Montreal.
Canadians have spoken. You want a government with a vision and an agenda for this country that is positive and ambitious and hopeful. Well, my friends, I promise you tonight that I will lead that government. I will make that vision a reality. I will be that Prime Minister.
Double reason for the official opposition leader to smile that day. It's not every day a governing party MP jumps ship for an opposition seat. And Andrew Scheer got to welcome a Quebec by-election winner, Richard Martel, to the Conservative ranks. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer joins me here in the foyer along with his newest recruit, former Liberal, now Conservative, Aurora MP Leonie Ellislev. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you both. All right, let's bring in Andrew Scheer, the Conservative leader, day one in the House of Commons. This was a pretty deadly shot at the Liberals to get one of their own, a woman, a bilingual woman, one woman with an amazing CV. What did you think when you first heard that she was coming across?
Well, you know, when I heard that Leona had some serious reservations about the direction that the government was going in and their lack of attention to some of the very important things that are facing Canada, I thought to myself, let's find out a little bit about each other. Let's see where her priorities are, and I could tell right away that this is a very serious person. When you look at her CV, Don, I mean, captain in the RCAF, the Air Force, responsible for procurement, IBM, Bombardier, and when we had our first conversation, I could tell that she had given these things a lot of thought. So I was very pleased to see this, because our whole message for the last few years has been that many people voted Liberal in 2015 expecting something. More and more Canadians are realizing that the threats that are facing Canada are not being dealt with in serious fashion, and so obviously we're very thrilled to have her come join us as we prepare for the next election.
Well, I'm sure.
Well, there you have it. Please remember this. When the Liberal Communist Party took power in Canada, Canada was in the black. Things were looking good. The previous Prime Minister had been fighting Obama, who was blocking the Alberta pipeline. Other than that, the economy was pretty good. No debt as such, and we were in the process of spending a vast amount of money to update our aging military. Now, this wasn't 10 years ago. It was less than 3 years ago. Less than 3 years ago. In that time, we have someone standing up in Parliament pleading for the following: a strong economy, strong leadership, the need to rebuild our nation's foundations, tax reform, employment reform, a comprehensive foreign policy, a modernised military to reassure our allies and defend our interests home and abroad. All that was in that person's speech. We haven't had 57 genders at the helm for 10 years. We've had him for slightly less than 3. How can so much be wrong in such a short space of time? That is the question that we all should be asking. Not who is this MP, but why is she saying this? She must know something. And why are not more MPs standing up for Canada? Perhaps they believe their jobs are more important than their country. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab and email. You can now find us on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a Twist and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio, that's EHRADIO, A Radio, and please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.